I call this meeting of the Bryan Independent School District to order. Let the record show that a quorum of board members is present, that this meeting has been duly called, and that notice of this meeting has been posted in accordance with Texas Open Meetings Act, Texas Government Code, Chapter 551. We want to welcome everyone here. We're glad to see you all here today. Citizens may make comments about topics relevant to district business. Topics should be limited to 3 minutes, and comments concerning specific students or personnel will be heard in closed session. So we now ask that you turn off the sound on your electronic devices, and we will do our pledges of allegiance. So for the American flag today, we have Ross Elementary.
Can I let them introduce themselves real quickly? Okay. I just wanted to spotlight the Explore program tonight since we've had COVID and we haven't had the opportunity to share all the great things we're doing in Explore. So I'm going to let them introduce themselves. They're going to tell their grade and what they love about Explore.
Hello, my name is Judah. I'm in 3rd grade, and I love how Explore is more challenging. Hello, my name is Eva, and I'm in 2nd grade, and I love reading.
Hello, my name is Henry, and I'm in 3rd grade, and what I like about Explore is that you can think out of the box.
Hi, my name is April, and what I like about it, I'm in 1st grade, and what I like is I also like reading.
She likes reading.
Okay. My name is Elliot. I'm in 4th grade, and I really like Explorer because everyone in Explorer has best friends, and I have a special bond with some of my classmates, and that motivates me to go to school and have 100% work ethic.
Ooh. Yay! Good job, everybody. Work in that Essential 8. Good job.
Okay, so 1, 2, 3. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, you guys did a great job.
And now with the Texas flag is Neal Elementary.
Hello, my name is Rosa Badio Vega. I am a 3rd grader at New Elementary, and I'm a 3rd grader. We are the September Amazing Students
Very
of character. Hi, my name is Jonathan Hernandez. I am a 2nd grader. Hello, my name is Danny Hawkins. I'm a 1st grader.
Hi, I'm Santiago, and I'm a 2nd grade, a kindergarten.
Hello, my name is Juan Romero, and I'm a 4th grader. Please join us for the Texas Pledge.
Good job. Good job. Yay! hate to follow that.
Yeah, great job to our amazing students. Next on our spotlight, and we have no citizen comments? Okay. We have our student ambassador update, and I see their lovely blue shirts.
Here.
Yay.
That's a tough act to follow. In fact, all those kids just got invited to be ambassadors. So we'll take them right now. They're a little early, but nonetheless, we're very excited. I am very, very excited to stand in the boardroom today to give a little bit of update. I think the last couple sessions ago, we had hundreds of kids in the noon workshop, and so we didn't bring back that many. We brought some of their best representatives to share a little bit about what's going on. So if I could invite them up to come stand with me, I'll get a little confidence when they're behind me. Mr. Banks, come on up. I know you don't like the spotlight. Mr. Dominguez, come on up. Who else? Ms. Thompson, come on up. Mr. Casey, come on up. So these are the ambassadors. They're going to come, and you can get a good look at them right now, and then come back here, and we're going to face this way because y'all are going to speak. And so at any point, if y'all want to talk, we'll take the mic. So we've got we click to the next slide. That would be phenomenal. I'm going to run through a little bit of the history real quick of the ambassador program, and then I'll let the kids speak. I wanted to introduce the district leadership. Miss Smith-Williams, I don't think is in here. She's down there. We couldn't do it without her. Every time I've mentioned that, she's amazing, and they know that firsthand. They're contacting her. But Laura Stafford, Christina Regan, Lester Banks, and, of course, myself. Y'all know Lester. I don't think it goes without saying his involvement. He's not selling tickets or pushing tickets, but he's pushing everything else. So we'll get another saying. It won't be tickets. It'll be something else down the line. But anytime you do anything, you want Lester to be a part of it. And then we've got our campus representatives that are here that really and truly are the feet on the ground. They're the hands making all of the things possible. They're the ones leading the meetings out, and we couldn't do it without incredible leadership. And so some of them are here tonight. I want to say their names whether they're here or not, just so that you hear them, because they're truly leaders in this district. But Emily Brewer and Krista DeVries from Davla, Ashley Lloyd from SFA. I saw her earlier today. I thought she'd be here. Come on up, Miss Lloyd. I wondered where you were. There you are. Counselor over at SFA. Andrew Persine, if you don't know him, over at Bryan Collegiate. He is a mess. He's phenomenal to work with. If you know that guy at all, he's absolutely fun. Does a great job. And then we've got our Rudder High School crew, Felicia Thompson and Robert Casey over here. And just a dynamite group leading Rudder, seeing great things, clear communication. Could not be more pleased with everything they're doing. Y'all have seen them serving not only Rudder campus, but Bryan High. So really, the ambassadors are Bryan ISD. They're not just simply campuses. And I know when we talk in the meetings, that's something that's echoed throughout all the time. Miss Mannery, Miss Dominguez over here from Bryan High. Live and breathe, Bryan. It's wonderful. I love it. Just a history there that's truly very, very powerful. And then Miss Killingsworth that's not here represents Sam Rayburn. So I'm very, very pleased with the leadership that we have, and I could not do it without them, and just so very honored to have them leading out and making the ambassador program look good. Next slide. Would the leaders like to say anything? I'll give you the mic. I'm looking at Miss Thompson. I've never known her not to talk in a good way. She's always leading. I meant that respectfully. You know that. Yeah, okay. All right, I may have just stepped in something, and I don't want to do that. All right, strategic partners. Y'all are definitely one of our strategic partners, our faith-based leaders. Pastor Hill's in the audience. He was at our first collaborative. They're vital to what we do, and as we move forward through our collaborators, we're going to see them even more. Our elementary campuses, the Young Ambassador Program, the intermediate campuses, the Junior Ambassador Program. You're going to hear a little bit more about that program, and then Habitat for Humanity. Next slide, please. All right, timeline. I'm not going to read it to you, but you'll see pretty quickly we've moved very fast. They'll talk about some specific events. We're going to put the mic in the kids' hands because truly the leadership in the agency has been passed on to them. When you see ambassadors, you really haven't seen necessarily the leaders. What you've seen are the kids, which is by design. It doesn't happen without them, without their leadership, and without them really hand over hand, but we're giving that opportunity to the kids specifically. I'm very excited about our second collaborative, which is November 17th, and we're just asking the kids to really put together a campaign on aggressive behaviors. It's the first time ever that we've asked the kids to take on a challenge. And we've really gone to the group, to each campus, and asked them to send 15 to 20 of the committed kids that really want to make a difference in this area. And so on November 17th, I'm excited to see what they do and how the campaign comes about. So I'm very, very excited about that. Next slide, please. All right, pictures tell the best story. I think at some point, that picture on the left, we're going to see if you can identify the raccoon. He is in, or she is in the room. Does anybody maybe find him if you're worried about or thinking about who he is? Notice the height, and then you'll notice that the costume doesn't quite fit. But he showed up, and he'll talk a little bit more about that. You'll see that that's Friday night in the middle, and then that's Bowen Elementary. And our ambassadors, as we've said, were adopted out. And they're hitting the elementaries, serving in all kinds of ways. And their requests are coming. The campus leadership, they're getting the requests from the elementary schools to serve, for their kids to come out and just represent on the campus. Next slide. Some more pictures, you'll see what we've done. This is the National Night Out, Wixon Valley. It was just a phenomenal night. In fact, I don't want to steal any thunder, but it was a momentous night for us, to say the least. Next slide. Junior ambassadors, I mentioned this. Neil, who was just here, that spoke out a little bit, that's their junior ambassadors right there. She sent me that picture. So every campus, every elementary campus was charged with creating an ambassador program, and then they get to lead out. And then that's Sam Rayburn. We specifically were strategic with Bryan Collegiate High School, split their family leaders and placed half at Sam Rayburn and half at Jane Long. And the family structure is on all the campuses, so that we're really wanting to make sure that's just throughout both those. And as you know, Bryan Collegiate has an incredible culture. All schools do, but theirs is just uniquely rich. It's a different place. They don't have extracurriculars. They got pep rallies. And so that's very similar to what we do at the intermediate schools. They don't have those extracurriculars, but how do we replicate that? We've spent a few very amazing days together, and that was the first group at Sam Rayburn. All right, next slide. He's going to kill me, but you'll notice someone up there that really, Lester is part of this program. I don't know anything in the Brazos Valley that Lester's not a part of. I think the keys are in his pocket. Are they in your pocket, Lester? I mean, I joke every time. There's like 1,000 keys on that key ring. He could hold it up. I think he's got a key to Mr. Pavlis's bank. I'm not positive on that, but you may want to check him. If a key's gone missing, Lester has it. He's innocent. I trust him with everything, but he probably has it. And you'll see Miss Carabound. That's on National Night Out as well. So Lester, in his own way and in his own, I don't know how he does it. He donated not only $1,000 to the Bryan ISD build through Habitat, so that's going to Habitat, but then he delivered $1,000 to us in honor of the Habitat. So right there, that $2,000 flipped into $4,000 because of the donation that a family made for a matching grant. So right off the bat, we had $4,000. All right, next slide. And now it's the kids' turn. Melvin's not here. If y'all know Melvin, I know Felicia. Your son, I don't know where he went. He's double booked most likely and can't hear. But kids, come on up. We're going to turn it over to y'all, and you're going to talk a little bit about what you're doing, what you look forward to, some experiences that you've had. And so we're, again, turning the mic over to them.
Hello and good evening. Thank you for having us. We really appreciate it. Like he was just saying, the student ambassadors are focusing on a lot of main causes, but the one that we're focusing on right now is the Habitat for Humanity, the Bryan ISD build. And just a lot of what we've been doing so far is fundraising and going to places where people from different ages, different backgrounds, we're just all coming together to support one of our own, one of our people. And so I've just really enjoyed that, meeting a lot of new people and just connecting with them even through one way. Thank you so much.
And you are on what campus?
Oh, sorry. My name is Delilah Regan, and I am from SFA. I'm from here.
She's amazing. All right, Esther, come on up.
Good afternoon. My name is Astrid Lopez. I am with the Bryan Collegiate High School campus. Well, one of the things we're working on is partnering with the intermediate schools, one of them being Sam Rayburn, which I am a part of the team. What we've done so far is we've gotten to know the kids. We've gotten to play with them, name games, and you can already feel this change on their faces and the switch in the atmosphere once we actually become part of their campus. Super excited for this initiative to happen. I think I feel really blessed to be able to go up there and create a lasting impact, not only for us, but for all of the district. And right now we're planning a pep rally, so we'll see how that goes. That's super amazing. All right. Thank you so much, and y'all have a good day.
Yeah, specifically, y'all's pep rally is next week, correct? And so we're sending not only Jane Long, but Sam Rayburn teachers and staff to see that pep rally so that they can duplicate it on the intermediate campus. Because again, no extracurriculars over there, no extracurriculars on intermediate, but they figured out how to do a pep rally. So they're wanting to replicate it. In fact, the kids are helping plan. All right, McBride girls, come on up. Here you go.
Hello, my name is Bailey McBride. I go to SFA and I'm in the 8th grade. So one thing that I got to work is the Hall of Honor banquet at Miramont Country Club, where we got to go and learn about the history and the making of Bryan ISD.
Hi, my name is Brooke McBride, and I go to SFA Middle School. Something that was really cool, me and my sister got to go work at our school that we're partnering with, which is Fannin Elementary, and we got to talk a little bit about what an ambassador is on their morning announcements. So I think that's really cool. Thank you.
Mr. Galvan.
Hello, my name is Olivia Galvin, and I'm at Davila Middle School. And something that I find really cool about the ambassador program is being able to build your communication skills through just meeting new people every single time you go somewhere. And I feel like that's just amazing, and just being able to build your confidence just like at anything small, just like this, just speaking to a few people, I feel like it just really makes a difference. Thank you.
He clearly struggles. Yeah, he's very gifted. All the kids, you see what I get to work with. It's incredible. Now, anybody spot the raccoon? Yeah, here we go, Rylan. So, Rylan, tell us a little bit about what you've gotten to do.
I'm Rylan Hill. I'm a junior at Bryan High, and I've had the honor of going to Sol Ross a couple times. Once in the morning to be the raccoon, of course, and stand outside and greet the kids as they come in. And it's really been a joy to just see the smiles on kids' faces when they walk up to you and give you a big old hug and call you Rocky the Raccoon. It's just amazing. I mean, I probably have given out 500 to 1,000 hugs and high fives. And then the second time, me and a couple others from Bryan High went to Sol Ross to do the ice cream party for the perfect attendance that they had for the kids. And just seeing the kids who want to be at school and love going to school, and you can just tell by the way that they hold themselves that they know why they're there and they take advantage of it, and you can just see how happy and excited they are. And each time it's just, even if they know you're the raccoon, I mean, they're not going to tell you, they love seeing the raccoon. It's a highlight to their day.
You can see I've got incredible people to just spend my day with, from the leaders that are around the building on the campuses that are leading out in their own classrooms, to the kids who are just doing an incredible job. When we give them opportunities, they're just stepping up and making us incredibly proud. So parents, thank y'all for sharing your kids with us. They truly are leaders. I can't wait to see where they go and where this program is heading. I mean, we've taken them to Rotary. Melvin went to Rotary, and in the room, I think he would have been employed by everyone in the room, just talking about what we're currently doing. So we appreciate the opportunity, the vision to be able to do it. Thank you, Ms. Caraban, for creating that and then challenging us to get this started. So we just wanted to share a little about what we're doing.
I think that Rylan Hill, after his college and professional baseball career, there is money in professional mascots. So I don't know if there's a raccoon out there, but just saying.
You have a bright future. In fact, we all have a bright future because of these children. Let's give everyone a big round of applause again.
Great. And that moves us into our next item, which is the Bryan ISD build donation from the Lester Banks Foundation.
Woohoo. Don't leave, Lester. So, Mr. Banks, if you'll come forward again, and board members, do you all want to all join down on the floor?
It's about time Mr. Banks gets some recognition for all the things that he does. Whether you like it or not.
Real quick, I just want to say, who are you when no one's looking? That's the challenge that I tell every kid in Bryan ISD. I am somebody. Tomorrow is our Give Back Day. I have one more fundraiser that I'm going to get out of here, go through to raise $4,000. I can't challenge the kids to do anything if I'm not going to be the role model and set the example. I did this on my own. I didn't ask nobody for a penny. I got my sister to help me cook some food, sell plates and everything. Every penny I raised came from me. And I have some kids that from different elementary. Matter of fact, I got 3 to go pick up to help because it's all about the kids. Who are you when no one's looking? And I'm able, right now we have $3,600. We're going to make it even $4,000 tonight to give back. Thank you very much.
Thanks publicly because Dr. Merrill said it best. When we thought of the Student Ambassador Program, we quickly realized that we needed staff support because it turned into a small idea, turned into a grand idea, and now we have hundreds of kids. So, of course, we made a beeline and we begged Mr. Banks to join forces with us, and he stepped up hugely. And again, he does have a key to every building in the district, so that helps as well. But he's the most giving, kind-hearted person ever. And when we say children first, always, with Mr. Banks, it really is children first. And with this $1,000, it'll go to good use. As you know, we're working to build that house with the Bryan ISD build. So thank you again. Please join me in a round of applause again for Mr. Banks. All right, and next on the agenda is Bryan ISD bill donation from the city of Wixon Valley. Thank you, Dr. Hurlin. Yes, the Wixon Valley Mayor, Mayor Jim Sofchi, was supposed to be here tonight, but he just sent a message that something came up and he has a conflict and cannot be here. But we do want to publicly thank him and recognize Wixon Valley because, as Dr. Merrill mentioned, we brought several, probably 20 or so of the student ambassadors out to Wixon Valley on their night of the neighborhood night out. And we were there to volunteer and just to help and support as needed. And we were promoting the Bryan ISD build. And the mayor and community members of Wixon Valley were so impressed with our students and the volunteers that all that they were doing to help that they graciously presented a $2,500 donation for the Bryan ISD build. So please give Wixon Valley a big round of applause. Thank you.
Yeah, well, we appreciate that. That's awesome. And next is our elementary teacher of the month, who will be introduced by Principal Amy Bruner at Mary Branch.
He looks excited to be here.
I know, I'm super excited to be here, but Joel is very excited to be here. So I'm going to read for y'all why we nominated Mr. Joel for the Teacher of the Month for October. So, Superman, that's the name that we should all call Joel Dunsworth. And in fact, some of his students do. He goes above and beyond and has since the day he started in Bryan ISD. Mr. Joel joined the Bryan ISD family in 2019 as a substitute teacher at Branch, and quickly it became apparent that Mr. Joel was meant to teach. We worked with him to go through his alternative certification program, and he quickly went from SOAR substitute teacher to SOAR teacher. Ever since then, the rest is history. Joel has been a dynamic part of our school family. He is currently our special education resource math teacher. Mr. Joel exemplifies all of the essential 8 characteristics, so we couldn't pick just one to highlight. He is kind day in and day out to others, is always looking for ways to build up students and staff with his sense of humor, his kind words, a hug, a high five, and just has an all-around happy disposition. In addition, Mr. Joel lives and breathes tolerance. He is the walking example that regardless of where you come from, you belong. He embodies that trait and has instilled it in his students since day one by creating a classroom culture of acceptance. Mr. Joel is always showing gratitude. He will always tell others thank you, write letters of affirmation, or some of our campus favorites are the custom artwork notes that he will leave behind with a word of encouragement or thanks. Being a SOAR teacher and now our resource sped teacher can sometimes be a very difficult job. Not only are you balancing the academic piece, but you're also balancing the social emotional piece of students and staff throughout the year. There are definitely times when tensions are high, emotions are high, and yet the constant is the love and optimism that Joel shows his students and our staff. We have never heard Mr. Joel raise his voice, never heard him put a student or staff member down, and regardless of how trying a day can be, he comes back each day with a smile on his face. This year, Mr. Joel has also stepped into several leadership spots at Branch. He is one of our special education department leads. He is our I-support specialist. He is helping running the yearbook with our PTO. And he is a vital member of our campus foundations team, which is a part of Safe and Civil Schools. In addition to leadership in school, Mr. Joel also gives his time in the summer as a camp counselor for the Texas Boys State, which is a program that helps young men during the summertime learn how to become part of the operation of their local county and state governments. And lastly, we saved work ethic and courage for the end. These two essential 8 characteristics are the overarching traits that Mr. Joel has and uses to advocate for our students in Bryan ISD. This year, Joel was asked to step up and help at Sam Rayburn as their SOAR teacher. As a campus, we were very sad at the possibility that he would leave, but very proud that he was thought of for such a role. Joel decided not to leave Branch, but did go volunteer at Rayburn to help the SOAR program get up and running, get their processes and procedures in place, and to help train their instructional assistants so that the program could be as successful as possible. And you don't just see that every day. That is the work ethic that is instilled in Mr. Joel. That is the love that he has for his former students in different programs, and the love that he has for the students in Bryan who need him. It took courage for Mr. Joel to advocate for himself and for students, and we're so proud of him. And for those reasons, that's why we nominated Joel for October Teacher of the Month.
Congratulations. We have a certificate, and we are thankful for BB&T for sponsoring. Truist, sorry. I bank with you, and I can't get it right. I apologize. Truist.
Is there any family with you?
Yes, we have Joel's mom, Janet, his niece, Brooklyn, and his wife, Hannah. They're also here.
Then they should be in the picture.
Yeah. Room for all.
I'm going to move so I'm not the photo bomb.
Hey, that's like just your little head floating in the background of all the pictures.
Keep moving, Felicia.
We don't want to be the
Poor Felicia. Come on, Felicia.
Okay.
All right, good job. Congratulations.
Congratulations. And next, for our secondary teacher of the month, we have Principal Rachel Layton from Rudder High School.
So we're here with John McGee, who is our welding teacher at Rudder High School. And honestly, you cannot write enough for what John has done for Rudder High School and the welding program. It has grown immensely. Kids want to be in there and want to work on the projects.
It's on.
So this summer, he was able to get 4 of his graduating seniors internships at RBS Welding so they could go straight into the workforce. So we're very proud of that. It's a great opportunity for our Rudder students to utilize their certifications and go straight into their career field. He also advocates for the students in the Rudder Welding program by gaining support from companies in our community. This school year alone, companies have donated over $6,000 worth of metal for the students to work on in their projects this year. And so if you know the price of metal right now, did you tell me that this means all projects for the whole year through all the competitions are probably covered?
Yeah, they're basically.
Wow.
Wow.
That's awesome. He's also had countless tools and machines donated to the Rudder program, and he's helped his students win thousands of dollars school year. Earlier this school year, Mr. McGee traveled with our students who were in the Texas Statesman Skills USA Officers for Washington, D.C. So this is an advanced leadership program offered by Skills USA. While they were there, Pete Sessions called him, which you still don't know how he got your phone number, correct?
No, I'm not real sure. We just another email, and we walked outside the building, and my phone rang, and I still don't know how he got that.
Sessions called him up and said he wanted to meet our brother students. And so they sat down and had quite a lengthy conversation. And as a matter of fact, Pete Sessions called me a few days later to tell me how amazed he was with our students and how articulate they were in their leadership. So we thank him for going with that group and going to see Skills USA and Pete Sessions. And then also to add, because this has happened since, he just won one of the largest Bryan ISD Foundation grants this year, and it's getting a CNC machine that actually does code, and so we'll be able to replicate pieces once the kids get them cut to how they want. And so like one kid said, when they found out they won, they're going to win every competition this year.
He was a teacher. He was a teacher at the Rubber Day.
And again, we thank Truist Bank for being here.
I want a photo.
Is your family here? Is that his family? Is that his family outside? Do they want to come?
If he wants to. He is not disrupting anything. We can be very quiet.
We would love for him to come in front and center.
And we won't clap. We can be very quiet.
Of course. It's a special day. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Congratulations.
All right, next up, we have our superintendent update.
Okay, we're going to let Mr. Falls pull the presentation up. Congratulations again to our teachers of the month.
Mr. McGee, you were a Bryan Viking, weren't you?
Yeah, Lester already left. Lester was one of them that helped get us back into class at times.
Well, we're very proud. Glad you came back.
Thank you for coming home and adding value to all that we do at Rudder High School. Much appreciated.
Actually, it's, if y'all could just think, I still have my, my great uncle Roger Valentine McGee later taught at A&M and wrote a math book for A&M. You know my hand? But I actually have his Bryan Independent School diploma from 1917. So it's actually we've been here a while.
Yes, I'm sure he would love to frame that and display it somewhere under lock and key if you'd let us.
I would actually like to do that.
We would
because
love, or even if we make a copy of it and then frame the copy and you preserve the original, that would be fantastic.
Yeah, and that way, if you wanted to know what some of the people in the hallway, their signatures look like, their own. But we'll arrange something and get that. But it's been a long journey for the McGee clan, I guess.
Wow. Thank you. Thank you for all that you're doing for our students. We appreciate you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Okay, so Dr. Harlan, there's a lot going on in Bryan ISD, so many wonderful things. We took a lot of the time needed to showcase our student ambassadors, so my part will be fairly quick tonight. I do want to talk just for a moment about the Bryan ISD Build. we're working and gaining some momentum and right where we thought we would be at this point in time. As you may recall, we officially announced that this was going to happen this year at convocation back in August. So all of our teachers and our staff in general started to rally the troops. But the most instrumental group of people for sure are the student ambassadors. All those students you've been seeing in middle school and high school are out working for their campuses, but as well as at the district level. So they've done everything from have car washes, coin drops, matching donations coming in for grade attendance at one of our schools. So you name it, they're thinking of it right now as we speak. Also, if you've been to any Friday night football games, you've noticed there's a group of them out there every single Friday night sharing awareness, promoting our Bryan ISD build. We've had them out at First Friday in downtown Bryan. I've taken 2 different groups to the Rotary meetings to expose them to Rotary and to let the Rotary members meet our fabulous students. So just lots of great things happening, and we're so proud. One thing that we are planning is we're calling it Hats On for the Bryan ISD build. And with this initiative, we're inviting every student and staff member to consider donating $1 to wear any hat of their choosing on October 28th. And if every student and every staff member is able to donate that $1 to wear that one hat, we could raise almost $19,000 in one day. So we're asking if anyone would like to consider sponsoring some of our students who may not remember their $1 or have their $1. I know there's several people that said that they would be interested in sponsoring, but that would just be a really great, fun way to put your hats on for the Bryan ISD. And again, for our $1 donation, we could possibly raise, with 16,000 kids and almost 3,000 employees, a real quick $19,000. So that would be fantastic. Again, it's October 28th, Hats On for Bryan ISD. And Dr. Merrill mentioned this briefly, but we're very happy to celebrate, and I hope to have the family in here maybe at a November board meeting. But the family of the late Ruth Clearfield found out about our Bryan ISD build, and they went to our website and they started looking at what we do with the Essential 8, and they were so impressed with the initiative for character development and that we were teaching our kids about community service with the Bryan ISD build in particular, that this family has graciously donated up to $40,000. It's a matching gift. So right now, for every dollar given, they will match it up to $40,000. So we're very excited and very thankful for the Ruth Clearfield family to think of us with this very, very generous donation. And then this is just another couple of photos here to show you. I just can't tell you enough about the impact of the student ambassadors. We never dreamed we would have this kind of momentum. As you can see, these are just some photos from middle school to high school, and it's trickling down. As you heard the students say it themselves, they've adopted intermediate schools and elementary schools. These kids are celebrities among their peers, especially in the younger grades. We have lots of kids that are asking to be a part of this. We have more staff members stepping up to help us with it. We have community members. Again, a big shout out to Pastor Sam Hill in the boardroom tonight with us, just wrapping their arms around what we're trying to accomplish with this, and they are amazing. This is more than campus culture and climate. This is a district level initiative, and they are truly, truly serving our community, and we are so proud. And then finally, just a huge celebration and a big thank you to our Bryan ISD Education Foundation. The Prize Patrol, several of us went out last week to award 44 teacher grants. These are teachers in our different schools all around the district who wrote grants for consideration, and they awarded over $65,000. So a big thank you to the Education Foundation for all that they do to support our students. These are teachers writing grants for just out-of-the-box thinking. I know we provide them with all the instructional resources and materials that they need, but sometimes they have these ideas that are bigger and better and outside of what we're even doing, and we love their innovation and their creative thinking, and we are so grateful for the Education Foundation. So with that, that is all the great things happening in Bryan ISD, so thank you.
Thanks, Ms. Carabine. We will now move into our information items. First is school boundaries update.
Good evening. I should have more team members with me because they were all a part of this process, but I get to talk tonight instead, so they'll back me up, right, Ms. Kuhn and Ms. Warren and everybody else. This was a team approach because we did a lot of great work with focus committees over the past couple of weeks, getting information on a variety of different topics. So I'm here tonight to share some of that progress with you and then tell you about next steps. So again, anchoring back in what we've talked about before. And Clay, if you could check that box of that. There we go. Thank you. Anchoring back to what we talked about before, this entire process is grounded in FC Local. You're going to hear me referencing it tonight because it impacts a lot of our decision making as we move forward in terms of things to consider and where to begin looking for how to balance school enrollment for overutilization and underutilization. But we also work with that School Boundaries Oversight Committee, and in fact, they have another meeting this week that I'll be talking to you about later in the presentation. As you all are well aware, all of this began as part of the Bond 2020 development. As that bond was passed by voters, it included the building of Sadberry Intermediate, and so the most critical is that we go ahead and get ready for the opening of Sadberry and understanding where those zones will be, those boundaries will be for attendance at Sadberry Intermediate and the other 2 intermediate schools. But it also gives us the opportunity to look at campuses where perhaps we're overutilizing the facility and other areas where maybe we're underutilizing the facility. So that is a big part of that process. Again, this is a very collaborative process, lots of different entities. I've spoken to this before, but we have some great partners in this process. A little update on our timeline. We are well into October. We added some events on the October calendar that, again, transpired in the last week, and those were specific focus groups about programming, pre-K, bilingual education, dual language education, getting various stakeholders from each of those groups. For example, there were parents from pre-K, parents from dual language, parents from transitional bilingual, and likewise teachers. And so we had all of the elementary principals as one focus group. Then we had about 30 parents for the next one, and then about 40 teachers. And we specifically wanted to know more information about that particular program and how to move forward to support services in the best way possible for our students. All of that transpired this month, along with another update to DEIC. And then again, one more meeting will be held this month with the School Boundaries Oversight Committee. And that meeting will also include cooperative strategies. They were on the previous slide. We'll be looking at various scenarios and ideas that we could possibly put out to the community for feedback and consideration. And again, I'll speak to that more as we go through the presentation. But a lot of great involvement. The wonderful thing is we had wonderful turnout for these invitations. People were more than willing to come to the table and to talk analytically and a little bit detached from your own situation with how you see it, but be able to see both sides of the pros and the cons. So it was a really wonderful group of people, and I'll share with you some of their feedback as we go through the presentation. So the stakeholder feedback really began with a process of understanding where we are as a district, as a state, and as a nation right now. And as the board is fully aware, there is a national teacher shortage. I don't think anyone will tell you that there is not one, because everyone is feeling the impact of the lack of teachers moving into the profession and those that are leaving the profession as well. In fact, there have been some research studies, one most recently in August of 2022, that estimates that there are at least 36,000 vacant teaching positions across the nation, with at least 163,000 positions being held by teachers who don't hold credentials. And that's good, bad, and different. It can be all different things, but it doesn't change the fact that we have a population that is no longer seeking an educational profession. In fact, colleges have recently reported a decline in enrollment. They've said that they've seen a decline since 2019. It's only intensified since the pandemic, that this isn't something that people are going into in college anymore. And so there's a lot of things that we can do to counteract that. But again, proactive planning on all of our parts, understanding that teacher vacancy issue. TEA has recognized it by forming the Teacher Vacancy Task Force, trying to address some of those things. This board was very proactive in looking at, okay, if we don't have the certified teachers, or we have people who are in an alternative certified program, a certification program, who maybe haven't finished their credential, but they're on the pathway, let's employ them. They have a college degree. Let's employ them and train them to be excellent teachers as they pursue that certification. And so under District of Innovation, we were able to expand and build on what was already working well here in Bryan ISD. We had a number of career technical education teachers, world language teachers, and teachers who hold master's degrees in programs and are working with Billings College, but didn't hold the corresponding K-12 certification that we were able to employ as educators. That was expanded this summer, and under DOI, we have employed 80 teachers to fill vacancies across the district that would otherwise have gone unfilled. Unfortunately, there are some limitations to how we can use that DOI provision. For example, pre-kindergarten, bilingual education, and special education are federally funded. We may not use a DOI candidate in one of those settings. We have to seek a certified teacher and fill a certified teacher in those settings, or we cannot fill the position. So all of those things lead to a situation where we have to think differently in education than we've ever had to before about the availability of certified teachers to serve our students. Our charge is to make sure that every kid, every family has a teacher that invests in their child and is teaching their class. We're doing the best we can to be very innovative with that, but it doesn't change the fact that this isn't a short-term problem, and it's likely to continue for the next years to come until something else shifts in terms of interest with our profession. So along with all of this, we presented all of this to the focus groups and the committees because it's important to how we think about serving students and where students are served. It also means that sometimes we might want to look at combining classrooms in different locations to reduce the number of additional teachers needed while still serving kids under the enrollment capacity, right? We want to make sure we're not overcrowding our facilities or our classrooms. So FC Local actually tells us to do this. FC Local says when a school or a series of schools are overutilized or underutilized, it asks us to look at, well, where are various programs such as pre-kindergarten, bilingual, or special education courses? And if those services can be relocated, will that balance the enrollment at the campus rather than making a school boundary change? It's a where services are located change. And so that's what the committee is doing. That's why we had so many focus groups, because that's part of what we have to consider moving forward. Also in FC Local, it asks us to look at future growth. It wants to know what those demographics are going to look like in 5 years so that we don't move a program just to have it not have enough space in the coming year. That wouldn't be prudent, right? We want to make sure that we know that there's growth happening in the Branch area, in the Houston area, and to move anything too radically in one of those two zones in the future would cause us to be right back at the table. And we don't want to have multiple changes for children if we don't need to. FC Local also asks us to minimize the use of temporary classrooms. So when we talk about portable buildings, we're looking at the capacity of a school building. It says that we're to look at the core infrastructure of the building, the number of classrooms in the building, rather than in portables. That's a consideration for us to also look at and try to balance enrollment to the extent that's possible with the least disruption possible. So again, balance with no disruption doesn't always happen. So let's talk about the feedback. So one of the things we asked the teachers and the parents and the principals is talk to us about the number of teachers per grade doing a similar function or providing a similar service. For example, in any given elementary school, you'd have a class that has an English instruction. You have a class that may have dual language instruction where there's 50% English speakers and 50% native Spanish speakers, and they do both, right? And then you also have a class that is bilingual instruction for students who are all receiving bilingual services, but it's a gradual release and transition to English versus a 50-50 model. So 3 different versions of general instruction, first instruction, your classroom teacher. When we looked at the numbers for this, we started seeing that on some of our campuses, due to limited space, there was only one teacher of a particular type of classroom at a grade level at times. So I might be the only first grade teacher that was teaching bilingual students, or the only first grade teacher that was teaching English speaking students. Well, when that happens, there are some definite considerations. For example, the teacher has no one else to plan with. The teacher works by themselves. The teacher is the only person who can do it. There are times when even with my own children, where I can tell my son one thing and it works, but I cannot tell my daughter the same thing and have it work. She needs to hear it from someone other than me, right? So there are times at which sometimes I'm not the best fit or we're not the best match, and we need to be able to see a different perspective. As we talked with teachers and we talked with parents and we talked with principals, everybody was supportive overwhelmingly of the fact that they wanted to ensure that every teacher had a buddy teacher to work with, plan with, and to share students with for the best outcomes for kids. There are times when perhaps there are twins and the twins would operate best in separate rooms. Sometimes they operate best in the same room. It depends on the twins, right? So to the extent that we can, we want to make sure that there are two of a particular type of instruction at every grade level. This is important because it changes how many different versions of first instruction can be on a single campus. English, dual language, bilingual. If there's two, a minimum of each, that's 6 classrooms. How many classrooms are in the building? It ends up multiplying rapidly, and some of our buildings can't handle that many different versions of instruction. They can handle 2, but perhaps not 3. And so that was something else all of the focus groups looked at. Moving forward, we talked about pre-K. So when we talk about pre-K, there's 2 different versions. There's the qualify for pre-K, meaning your low income, your bilingual services or special education, or there's tuition-based pre-K. We have both. We offer both to our community as well as to our employees. Previously, as you guys know, pre-kindergarten was a half-day program, and it was at several sites, but not every site. It was at Bonham, Crockett, Fannin, Kemp Carver, Jones, and Bowen. And it was a half-day program with an AM class and a PM class. But then in 2019, it switched to full day. And because we had space, because we moved to an intermediate model, we were able to open up pre-K on every campus and see how it went. And then the pandemic hit in year 1 of doing that, and it's been a little bit different every year since. Now is a great time to study it, reflect on it, and look at, is this really the best model? Is this the way we want to proceed? What adjustments would we possibly make? Currently, again, thinking about those teacher seats and those teacher vacancies rather, we have 120 vacant bilingual pre-K seats. Kids don't come in packs of 22. But they do come in 15, 14, and if you have 2 groups of 14, well, that can't be 1 class, that's too many, so it ends up being 2 classes. So then you have empty seats in the classroom, but that's where their home zone school is. Same thing with English speaking, but with English speaking, there are 237, just because of the distribution of how the kids work out. So again, they don't come in magical packs of 22. But it equates to a number of teaching units and a number of instructional aides. And it's not about saving the positions, it's about the certified teacher in those positions that could serve kids elsewhere in the district. Remember, pre-K can only be served by a certified teacher by federal law. And so we have certified teachers that we could be reallocating and maneuvering to other classrooms in the district to provide a certified teacher in the classroom, especially as we think forward to potential availability of teachers in the workforce in the future. And then we had a few situations where we had campuses that with fewer than 2 teachers in pre-kindergarten, either English speaking or bilingual, which again, they're planning by themselves. The stakeholder feedback on this was mixed. Some were very supportive, some were very concerned. There are a lot of things to consider, but ultimately what it means is we're looking at it, but we need more feedback from the community. So as we go through this process and we think about the survey that will be coming up in early November, this is exactly what we need feedback on. Each of the scenarios put forward will have different options, different ideas. Not one of them will end up being the option or the idea in its entirety, but rather ways for us to get feedback on what they like or would like us to adjust or new ideas on how to move forward. So pre-K, it was a little bit different in that it was a mixed kind of analysis in terms of what people believed. For dual language, same process similarly. Dual language requires student testing prior to kindergarten for entry into the dual language program. I should have asked Dr. Molina to do this part. Yes, ma'am. But the English speaking class is 50% and 50% Spanish speakers, and it's 50-50 English and Spanish in terms of instruction and the language of instruction. Currently, we have a program at Johnson, Henderson, and Crockett. And then we look at, again, the consolidation where we have available seats to serve. It's possible there could be a few bilingual certified. Again, we're going to that certification, the shortage of certified teachers, because Dr. Molina is here this evening to talk to you about bilingual exceptions and ESL waivers for non-certified faculty in these roles, right? So if we can shift certified faculty to fill some of these vacancies, that would be advantageous to our students. Again, here, the feedback from the focus groups was supportive in general, but there were still concerns, there were still questions, still unknowns, and still there's more feedback needed here as well. But one thing we did speak to, it becomes a challenge if you're the only one of a particular group of instructors where the kids themselves are almost isolated as a consequence as well, right? It's a natural consequence of being the only class in the first grade that does that. Well, then you don't have more counterparts to interact with and to engage with and to socialize with. And that's an important part of it too. So especially with dual language and language acquisition and development, it helps to have a larger pool of students together to work on that language development. As we talked about the transitional bilingual program, also known as emergent bilingual, I guess technically you could say that with dual language, but it's a little bit different. This program is available, or the service is available in grades K through 6. And when students enroll in our district and they put a home language other than English, they are administered a test, the Oral Language Proficiency Assessment, or test, LOPT. And then the Language Proficiency Assessment Committee, LPAC, has a meeting to review those results and determine if a placement in program services is appropriate. So that's how we qualify for those types of classrooms. Bonham and then Branch was added in 1718. Crockett, Fannin, Henderson, Jones, Kemp, Navarro, O'Neill, and Long and Rayburn were added in 1920. Long was actually added in 1718, Rayburn in 1920. So that's where the program is currently located. Based on, pardon me, the number of students needing services, we would need approximately, again, magical packs of 22. We don't have that. We would need approximately 78 teachers. We currently employ 119 transitional bilingual certified teachers. We are thrilled with the work of the Human Resource Department, the Bilingual Department, the principals at attracting bilingual certified teachers, and we're very thankful to the Board of Trustees for the stipend for those teachers who are bilingual certified to attract them to Bryan ISD. But we do think that there's a possibility and an opening for us here to again make sure we are distributing program services appropriately to provide for a certified teacher in every classroom with every child. And so there are opportunities here. In looking at the campuses where there's only one classroom, Crockett, kind of note Crockett here, pre-K, K, 1, 2, 3, and 4. There's a singular class of transitional bilingual instruction at that grade level. And it's due also to the zone, but also due because they have dual language and they have English instruction. So when you have 3, it becomes an issue with the number of available classrooms. We could change the zone, but then they couldn't hold that many different versions of programs at that site. And so it gives us an opportunity for some different scenarios as we develop school boundaries. Feedback here was again supportive, but again, they want to know more from the community at large. But again, these were bilingual parents, these were pre-K parents, these were dual language parents, and also the teachers. So as we start going a little deeper in this process, I'm going to be bringing to you maps. So we're going to talk today just about the maps that are as they stand today. Very briefly, the one that's on the screen right now is produced by PASA Demographics, and it gives us our projected enrollment if the boundaries did not change, okay? You'll notice that some schools are not slated to change enrollment all that much. It's because their communities are aging out. They're a very stable community. Neal's a great example. It's a wonderful school system, and the parents have stayed in the neighborhood and in the area, and they simply still live there but no longer have children that are school-going age. And whereas Branch and Houston, there's some different building happening there, and they're estimated to go up in enrollment. So all of those details come into the school boundarying process. As we look at the zones right now, and this is from Cooperative Strategies, you'll see their observations. There's things that we've talked about. Branch, Henderson, and Johnson are the most utilized facilities. And we look at the number of classrooms, the enrollment, and what percent utilization are they at. We also look at the number, the percent of low SES, of bilingual services, and all of the need that a particular campus may see. You'll see that, again, they note that dual language is offered at Crockett, Henderson, and Johnson, and that those impact how many kids can be zoned or boundaried to those schools, because the kids who attend the dual language program, a lot of them are not in that school zone. They are transported in. We provide transportation for all students who qualify for these programs and services, and they're transported in from other school zones. And so knowing that perhaps the dual language program may have 250 students at a particular campus, well, that's 250 less you can boundary for that campus, because you need to have enough space for the program to also be there, okay? Emergent bilingual, the district has had, again, certain campuses that have served students with the transitional bilingual program who are designated as emergent bilingual. TEA changes the name of this group of students every year. I think under every legislation there's a new name for how we address it, but there's students who qualify for services and for linguistic development, and they're wonderful children. And so when we look at how do we distribute those programs, these are the zones right now, the groupings of how students are attending the elementaries if they need that service. So there's an opportunity to make some adjustments there possibly. And as we look at our intermediate school, I think this is an interesting one. The School Boundaries Oversight Committee has been discussing with cooperative strategies their feedback for what percent of an elementary goes to any one intermediate. If we say 100% of an elementary goes to an intermediate, will they also split then at middle school and high school? And sometimes that can create a situation where one of our intermediates may be overutilized or underutilized because we need 100%. So they're looking at various scenarios to balance the intermediate enrollment, as well as trying to keep large groups of students together from elementary to intermediate so that there's some connection and community moving forward to the intermediate school. So all of this is going to be coming back to you with different scenarios, because later this week, the School Boundaries Oversight Committee will be meeting with cooperative strategies and looking at, there's option 1A, 1B, 1C. There are all these different little options and tweaks to what boundaries could be. Ultimately, a survey will go out November 7th through the 18th. And the options that are put out during that survey, I just want to make sure it's really understood and clear to everyone that these aren't the boundaries to be voted on. These are about feedback. We like this from option 1A, but we prefer this from option 1B, and we like this from option 2. Can you combine all those together? That's what the boundarying process and the survey looks like, and that's what cooperative strategies will do with us. On the survey, anyone who completes it will have the opportunity to sign up for a focus group, which will be held the following week, November 14th through the 18th. So you want to do your survey in week 1. This is my plug, my shameless plug for do your survey early so you can sign up for one of the focus groups and you can give specific feedback and explanation to what you'd like them to take a look at and produce a scenario for. So all of that is transpiring in November. And then again, we hope to bring refined recommendations to the Board of Trustees in December or January. But again, I can't thank enough the district administration, the campus administration, the teachers, the parents, very willing, very open. We talked at the beginning about just being open to the dialogue, and they certainly were, and so very thankful for that. What questions can I answer for you?
It was very thorough. As I had questions, you answered them.
Thank you, ma'am.
It was a lot. Yeah, it's a lot.
It is.
Clearly,
Yes.
there's a lot to balance.
There is, and with each group we've kind of chuckled. I said, so have we achieved world peace? And they all laughed. They said, no, but we are praying for you. And I said, thank you. I appreciate that, because it's not an easy process, but I think everyone recognizes it's one that's necessary, and it's time.
Well, and I can add, just talking to superintendents in other school districts who are not even working on attendance boundaries, they're having to take a close look at their programs because of the nationwide teacher workforce shortage. And there's not any innovative opportunity to staff outside of the box because the federal government says you can't use District of Innovation or any non-credential person to teach pre-K or bilingual or special education. So every superintendent right now is looking at where they house those programs and contemplating some kind of consolidation so that we can put credentialed teachers in the classroom to work with these students. So it's the perfect storm for us because we're looking at it, but we're for sure looking at it with attendance boundaries. So thank you, Dr. Ibarra, for your good work with this, because this is a lot, and I think everyone appreciates the transparency with the process.
Thank you.
Thanks. All right, we will move to the Ruby Halliburton Auxiliary Complex update.
See if we can get it up. Perfect. Thanks, Clay. So thank you for the opportunity to just provide an update tonight on the Ruby Halliburton Auxiliary Complex. So as y'all are aware, the Bryan ISD zoning request was approved by Bryan City Council last Tuesday night. And this zoning map shows the 4 land use areas within the Halliburton Auxiliary Complex sitting in land use area 2, which has been brought up. And then on the right is our site plan showing the setback for land use area 1 with the site being built in land use area 2. And then, as we've done at every one of our bond oversight committee meetings, we have had this slide showing the breakdown of the 2020 bond packages with its corresponding categories, as well as with the corresponding budgets of each of the 5 categories. And as you can see in this slide, overall we have allocated a little over $78 million towards the $175 million bond. And then just like a quick overview and everything, the Halliburton Auxiliary Complex was deemed a priority project from the very beginning of the bond steering committee with transportation and then maintenance. Very quickly got added into that original project. And then, as you recall, as we were going through programming, it was determined to bring in our central distribution center and the annex building there, which contains our custodial, warehouse, food services, and records management. But this one will also include the training site as well that the district can use. And of course, it is named after Ms. Ruby Halliburton, who was a longtime Bryan ISD transportation employee and has touched the lives of thousands of families over her 36 years of working for Bryan ISD. And this is going to be a way to recognize her and honor her with her service to our community. And then the traffic impact analysis, this has been one of the major topics of this project, and on the impact the traffic that this project would cause in that particular area of town. Quiddity Engineering was hired to perform our traffic impact analysis. As you can see with the daily trips and everything, it's a fairly minimal impact that we'll have. And as part of this traffic impact analysis, three of the things we're doing is putting in 2 left turn lanes on Leonard Road to go into the facility, as well as a deceleration lane on 2818 Harvey Mitchell Parkway. And then just some renderings that have been brought to y'all multiple times of the front entry of the project, the kind of the layout, the floor plan of the transportation building, as well as the maintenance side of the building as well. And then our mechanics bays and the training site that could hold in assembly chair seating up to 630 people. So it would be a great room for the district to utilize for training and everything, especially during the summer. And then going forward, in some of our next steps, one of them has been previous, which y'all approved at the August 22 workshop, was the guaranteed maximum price number 1 for the rooftop units and switchgear. That was released this past week for procurement. We wanted to wait till we had a definite answer on rezoning. So now that we have that, we did move forward with releasing that. And then coming up, GMP number 2, which is guaranteed maximum price number 2, we are hoping to come back into the boardroom late, or I guess mid to late December to have approval for that. We will open bids. Jamala will open bids on December 1st is our plan right now, and then give them 2 weeks to vet through those and make sure they're good numbers, and then coming before y'all to get that approval, with groundbreaking taking place immediately after in January of 23. And then it has a 14-month construction timeline with substantial completion slated. If we can make the January 23 groundbreaking, we'll have substantial completion March of 24, and allowing primarily first maintenance and transportation to get moved into the complex so that we can start demolition to finish off phase 2 of Sadberry. So that would take place in March, April 24, and then demolition would be as soon as they are out of the building, we will come in and do the demolition there. And then since we are talking about the Halliburton complex, it would be fitting tonight to just go ahead and provide an update on where we stand with buses and the replacement cycle on those. This has been going on since the 2019 bond. It was a priority then to start addressing our replacement cycle. And in the 19 bond, you can see we had $2.8 million budgeted in there. And from that, 28 buses were purchased along with one wheelchair accessible van. And then carrying over into the 2020 bond, in that bond we had a little over $2.1 million budgeted. So far we've spent just over $950,000. But we have purchased 11 buses as part of phase 1. Phase 2, which will take place this next summer of 23, we're looking at purchasing at least another additional 10 buses to keep up with our replacements. And of course, you don't want to purchase all these buses at once and then have them all have to be replaced at once. So we are staggering those over the years in multiple phases to avoid that in the future. And if you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer any.
I do want to add that I have met with the Ruby Halliburton family, and her daughter in particular wants to be very involved. So I've shared her number with Mr. Cleary, Mr. Buckner, some of the transportation folks, because she wants to be involved with the groundbreaking, walks in the building, construction, signing the beam, you name it. Their family is very honored and very excited about this and want to be involved as much as possible. So we will take advantage of that and include them in every way possible.
In fact, I texted her prior to the meeting for her email address so we can, it's easier to send pictures by email and everything to them. So
yes. And I have her cell phone number, so she wants to stay in touch.
Yep.
Well, it's a happy day that we can make plans to move forward. So we're thankful for that.
Thank you.
Thank you for the update.
Thank you.
All right. Safety and security update and notice of intruder detection audit with findings. That sounds ominous.
Oh, here comes Ron.
Good evening. The top priority of Bryan ISD is to keep students and staff safe every day. The Texas School Safety Center recently conducted an intruder detection audit at one of our entities. The audit tests whether an entity is accessible to an unauthorized individual. This audit seeks to help districts identify how they can improve safety for students, such as ensuring exterior doors are locked. This audit provides us with an opportunity to create a safe learning environment for our students and staff. We are working closely with our district leadership team to ensure that we are training all our staff and securing our doors for everyone's protection. The support from the state in conducting the audit, intruder detection audit, is just one of the many actions we are taking to ensure our schools are safe. We know that the work does not end, and we appreciate the board's support. We acknowledge that parents and community members are very likely interested in the details of the audit results. However, it is in the best interest of the students that we do not share this information to the broader public, as it could lead to compromising important security information. Such details of the intruder detection audit will be discussed in the executive session and with the Safety and Security Committee. Recent safety conversations with Region 6 underscored that our district is one that others look to. While we are fortunate to have many safety measures in place, none of it would have been possible without a supportive community, board, and administration. It is true that there's a mandate from the governor and TEA to lock all exterior doors, but there is not one that requires interior doors, including classrooms, to be locked. However, our district, knowing that it's the right thing to do, has required them to be locked. This was publicly demonstrated in August when our school board president, Mr. Mark McCall, emphasized at convocation the importance of locking classroom doors. He validated that Bryan ISD is committed to providing a safe and secure learning environment for our students and staff. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Ron. So we will hear more about that in closed session, but thank you. Next are items for discussion or action, consent agenda.
I move approval of all the items listed on the consent agenda.
Second.
Thank you. It has been moved by Dr. Davis and second by Ms. Duane. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? The consent agenda is approved. Next is teaching and learning. Consider approval of bilingual and ESL exceptions and waivers for 2021-2022.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for having me here this evening. This is a really good fit for the conversations that we're having right now with the bilingual exceptions and ESL waivers. This takes place once a year in November throughout the state of Texas. You have school districts that go through this process for one reason: to inform TEA of the challenges and needs that we have as a school district to retain and recruit certified bilingual and ESL teachers. When we're looking at the programs that we have here in the district, we have our transitional bilingual program for grades pre-K through 6, which we must provide a certified bilingual teacher. We have our dual language program, which again, if it's self-contained, another bilingual teacher, or if it's paired, we can do a bilingual teacher paired with an ESL teacher. Also, we have our English as a second language for grades pre-K through 12, which require an ESL certified teacher. One thing to mention here is when you're looking at bilingual and ESL certification, you have the basic content and grade level certification, and on top of that, there's 2 more additional exams. You're looking at your bilingual supplemental exam and then what they call a BTLPT exam. So there's 2 more additional certifications that you need to become a bilingual teacher, and 1 more for your ESL certification. These are the scenario change that we use to make the determination is if we need to file for a bilingual exception or an ESL waiver. The running idea is TEA really likes to keep things simple. It's pretty intense when we're looking at who needs a waiver and who needs an exception here. And this is the scenario chain for our ESL program. Some great news. We have a great number of certified bilingual teachers here in the district, certified personnel, and ESL as well. We had a minimal decrease, just a minimal decrease. This year, we went down 3 bilingual certified people here in the district and 11 certified ESL people here in the district. When you're thinking about district turnover, teachers coming and going and so forth, This is exceptional. This speaks volumes to the work that's done here in the district with retaining and recruiting certified people to be in those classrooms and provide the services that our kids need. This year, we're looking at filing 2 bilingual exceptions. So what this means is we have 2 classrooms that do not have a bilingual certified teacher at this point in time. That's good. That's really good. We in 2019, 2020, we had 51 classrooms that did not have a bilingual certified teacher. We went down to 14, we went down to 6, and now we're at 2. We are headed in the right direction. It just gives me goosebumps. Super exciting for our students, because when you walk into those classrooms and you see the quality of instruction, the quality of learning, it's exceptional. It's absolutely wonderful. With their ESL waivers, we're on the decline, but this year we have new teachers coming into the district that hold their certification, but that additional certification on top of that for the ESL supplemental, we're working with them. We have the people, so in a minute you'll see we have our plan for 22-23 is twofold. We're going to retain and keep them and offer them PD and support them in multiple ways, and then we're also going to continue to recruit. But we want to have the people that are in place right now, we want to support them and encourage them to go forth and get their ESL certification and stay here in Bryan. So our plan for this year, again, is twofold. We're looking at retention through support. When you feel supported and you feel empowered to do the best that you can in your classroom, you keep coming to work every day. You keep coming back, and that's what we want to cultivate, that climate for the teachers that work here in the district. So we're looking at providing opportunities for training and preparation courses for them to actually get their certification. Again, retaining them through support systems. We have some phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal support meetings and collaboratives that take place after school. We started doing Saturday professional development. If they can make it, that's absolutely wonderful. Come on out and we will have those professional learning communities going and running. We have lunch and learn PD opportunities that we did at the beginning of the year. We figured it's hard to get teachers at the beginning of the year because they're pulled in so many different directions, but our thought was they have to eat. So let them eat with us. So we were able to bring them to about an hour and 15 minutes, and we went over program models and expectations and so forth. So anytime that we can meet with them, we try to make that happen. And again, it goes back to that system of support. We have our instructional coaches and coordinators that go out and walk the classrooms and see exactly what's going on, and then come back and talk to the principal and talk about targeted professional development. What exactly is needed on your campus for your teachers to be successful, and that's exactly what we do. One huge thing, and this is a big thank you to the board, we offer competitive stipends and reimbursement for certification. That takes a barrier from certification away from the actual person, the actual teacher trying to get those additional credentials. So we the bilingual stipend that we have, and then our ESL stipend, and again the reimbursement for the actual test itself, and putting their certification on their SBEC certificate, which not a lot of districts have. We're looking at our recruiting efforts. I talked to Angela Burns in our HR department today, and she said this fall alone she has 13 in-person career fairs that she's attending. And we're working closely with her. We did this last year as well, but we're going out in the spring to help in these recruiting efforts. It's really eye-opening when you go out there and you have your table set up and you have the teachers walking back and forth and they see these big giant signs with $10,000 sign-on bonus or free child care and so forth. And when we talk to a lot of people, they come by Bryan because they all tell us, I started in Bryan. It's like, oh, okay, but then maybe life changed and so forth. But Bryan is the place to be. We have the community of support. We have such wonderful things to offer new teachers, veteran teachers, you name it. So it's really powerful. We're partnering with universities and teacher preparation programs. This year alone, Dr. Ibarra was talking about this, we only have one. We have one student teacher that is looking for her bilingual certification that is slated to graduate in December, compared to 13 that we had last year, so just one. So the profession, it's very difficult right now. So we're trying to, again, retain and recruit the people that we have.
One out of how many? How many student teachers do we have?
Oh, I'm not sure.
We have a lot.
A lot? Okay, that's appropriate. That was it. Okay.
And one of those for bilingual certification. And
So out of 75.
yeah, so we're going to hold on to those that we have, and we're going to continue to recruit. But I think a huge thing is retaining those teachers that we have, so supporting them.
Yeah, the other thing for Ms. Dwayne, the number of students in bilingual programs has dropped significantly. So, would I be correct in saying that?
I think when we're looking at the number of identified English language learners here in the district, it's just increasing. So
No,
we're up
I'm
to
talking
30%.
about those in teacher prep programs.
Oh, yes.
Those who are seeking to be, so.
Students. I thought you meant.
Texas A&M, for example, does not have many students who are seeking that certification.
Mhm. Yes, to my knowledge, that is correct.
So it's double-edged.
Just double it, yeah.
It's hard.
Yeah.
I
It
mean,
is, like-
it's a tough certification.
Mhm.
So not only are they not wanting to teach, they don't want to, it's,
Why would you work that hard?
yeah.
It's a lot of testing.
Well, so what I'm hearing you say is the number of English language learner students is on the rise, and then the number of staff members to serve them is on the decline right now. It's quite the challenge across the state of Texas. in
Very
particular.
challenging. Yes.
So, since we already interrupted you, sorry.
Oh, you're fine.
So looking at, is this just a splattering of the colleges we recruit from? Because except for Corpus Christi, and that's not really, I mean, there's not a whole lot from the south part of the state.
These are just a few. We collaborate with the HR department, and for lack of a better word, try to be very aggressive when it comes to recruiting events. And myself and my assistant director, we actually go out and help with these events to talk to the teachers, and like I said, it's very powerful. But yes, we try to get on the kind of the circuit, if you will, to help recruit teachers. So yes.
Thank you.
And I forgot to mention, we have one HB1 visa person this year. Ms. Kuhn, correct me if I'm wrong. She started 2 weeks ago, so she wasn't here at the beginning of the school year, but she's from Spain. So that's very exciting. So we welcome her with open arms. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I move approval of the bilingual exceptions and waiver reports as presented, and authorize administration to make any necessary adjustments to the submission as new data becomes available.
Second.
It's been moved by Mr. Stasny and seconded by Ms. Binford. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. All right. Next is local governance. Consider approval of year-end report of Board of Trustees continuing education requirements. So I will read the attached year-end report of Board Trustees continuing education requirements. So are you ready?
Well, this will be fun.
Yeah, this will be fun. Since 1986, the State Board of Education rule has required that public announcement be made each year of the names of board members who've completed the required continuing education hours and who are deficient. The annual required continuing education is a basic obligation and expectation of any sitting board member under State Board of Education rule. The president shall cause the minutes of the local board to reflect the information. So, let's see. Senate Bill 1566 passed in the 85th legislative session, amended to this TEC section 11.159, section B, changed the reporting board hours from the last regular meeting of the calendar year to the last meeting held before the election of trustees. The minutes must now reflect whether each trustee has met or is deficient in meeting the training required for the trustee as the first anniversary of the date of the trustee's election or appointment. So, board member, President Mark McCall, at large, place 7, completed. Vice President Julie Harlan, single member district, place 2, deficient in evaluating and improving student outcomes, scheduled for November of 2022. Secretary Felicia Benford, single member district, place 1, completed. Trustee Ruthie Waller, single member district, place 4, completed. Trustee Fran Dwayne, single member district, place 3, completed. Trustee Dr. Deidre Davis, at large, place 6, completed. Trustee David Stasny, single member district, place 5, completed. All 7 of the Bryan ISD trustees have met or exceeded the required hours of continuing education as the anniversary date of each board member's election or appointment of the Bryan ISD trustees in the following areas, with the exception of Julie Harlan in the evaluating and improving student outcomes. The team of 8 evaluating and improving student outcomes in the goal setting with the entire board is scheduled for November of 2022. Let's see, and these include cybersecurity, team building, State Board of Education, school safety, evaluating and improving student outcomes, sex abuse, human trafficking, and other maltreatment of children, child abuse prevention, additional required training, and Texas Education Code.
Is that it?
Yes.
I move approval of the year-end report of the Board of Trustees continuing education requirements as presented.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved by Ms. Dwayne and seconded by Ms. Benford. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Thank you. All right. The board will now convene in closed session to discuss the following items as allowed by Texas Government Code, Chapter 551. So we will be 551.074, 551.0821, 551.076. It is now 7:32. Closed meeting. Any action the board wishes to take as a result of the discussion in closed session will take place after the board reconvenes in the open meeting. It's now 7:32. board reconvene in open session at 8:53.
I move approval of Lori.
No action was taken in closed session, sorry.
All right.
Go ahead.
I move approval of Lori Sears for the Director of Transportation as recommended by the superintendent.
Second.
All right, it's been moved by Ms. Dwayne and seconded by Dr. Davis. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes.
Thank you to the board for the approval tonight. Ms. Sears comes to us with a long history of transportation experience. Currently, she's employed in Garland ISD as a safety and training manager. Prior to Garland, she was employed in Dallas ISD, so she has experience in a very large school district as well as a good midsize. And she began her career back in San Antonio, Texas at Northeast ISD. And all along the way, she actually also worked at Texas A&M at the Rellis campus for Teeks Enterprises. She has a wealth of experience and knowledge surrounding safety training. So we're happy to have Ms. Lori Sears join the Bryan ISD family as our Director of Transportation. Thank you so much.
Meeting adjourned.